Welcome back, my friends. The news today is that Amazon had its most profitable quarter ever. Amazon cost cuts drove its operating margin into double digits for first time. Amazon's operating margin jumped past 10%, topping a prior high of 8.2% in 2021. The company is simultaneously cutting costs and generating revenue growth in higher margin businesses. Revenue in Amazon Web Services and the advertising division topped estimates. But before we get into all of that, I would like to thank everyone who views my videos. If you would like to support the channel, please see the link to buy me a coffee in the video description below. And please hit the like button and leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. For most of its 27 years as a public company, Amazon investors have been asked to sacrifice profit for growth. That's no longer necessary. In its first quarter earnings report on Tuesday, Amazon's operating margin reached double digits for the first time on record. The company's margin climbed to 10.7% in the period, up from 7.8% in the fourth quarter, and topping a previous high of 8.2% in the first quarter of 2021. While overall revenue growth has been stuck in the low double digits for several quarters, and was mired in single digits for parts of 2021 and 2022, profit-hungry investors have been satisfied by the combination of CEO Andy Jassy's hefty cost cuts and stronger growth rates in higher-margin businesses like advertising and cloud computing. Operating income more than tripled in the quarter to $15.3 billion, while net income also jumped more than 200% to $10.4 billion. It tells us that Andy Jassy's emphasis of services for Amazon is working, said Tom Fort, an analyst at Maxim Group, in an interview. When you couple that with his very aggressive expense management, you're seeing these impressive margins. Amazon shares rose by about 1% in extended trading. The stock is up 15% for the year as of Tuesday's close. Revenue at Amazon Web Services increased 17% in the first quarter, a more rapid rate than Wall Street had expected. Almost two-thirds of operating income for all of Amazon came from AWS, which is now generating over $100 billion in annualized revenue. Growth at AWS sped up from 13% in the fourth quarter. Digital advertising, a business that's made Meta and Alphabet two of the most profitable companies on the planet, has become a booming business for Amazon as well. Ad revenue increased 24% to $11.8 billion in the first quarter, from $9.5 billion a year earlier. Advertising is growing and AWS has been strong, Amazon CFO Brian Olsavsky said on the earnings call on Tuesday, in discussing improvements in operating income. But there's more. A lot of that's driven by cost controls and expanding revenue on the top line and lower cost structures throughout the company, Olsavsky said. He added that the retail business has also gotten more efficient due to regionalization efforts that include retooling its logistics network so packages are shipped from facilities that are closer to shoppers. Layoffs have been a big part of the story. The company has eliminated more than 27,000 jobs since late 2022, with the cuts bleeding into 2024. During the first quarter, Amazon let go of hundreds of staffers in its health and AWS businesses. Technology and infrastructure costs dropped slightly from a year earlier, and sales and marketing costs fell 5%. Amazon brought general and administrative expenses down by 10%. Amazon expects a continued jump in profitability for the second quarter, but at a more measured pace. Operating income will be $10 billion to $14 billion, up from $7.7 billion a year earlier. That's still much higher growth than in revenue, which the company expects to increase by 7% to 11% to between $144 billion and $149 billion. Even as Jassy continues to look for ways to trim costs, he's endorsed big investments in generative artificial intelligence, particularly in the cloud business where the company has launched AI services. Olsavsky said on the call he expects those efforts, along with investments in AWS infrastructure, will lead to a meaningful increase in Amazon's capital expenditures for 2024 compared to last year. Capital spending by Amazon and its cloud peers, Microsoft and Google, has accelerated in recent quarters as the companies respond to demand for cloud and AI. Amazon's AWS is set to double down on Singapore with an additional $9 billion cloud investment. Amazon Web Services on Tuesday said it will pump another $9 billion into Singapore over the next 5 years to grow its cloud infrastructure and services in the country. Starting with our investment in Singapore in 2010, AWS has continued to strengthen their commitment to the ASEAN region, sharing the uplift in digital skills across the nations, providing secure and resilient infrastructure consistently across the region. Priscilla Chong, country manager of AWS Singapore, said on Tuesday, Web Services on Tuesday said it will invest an additional 12 billion Singapore dollars, about 87 billion over the next 5 years to grow its cloud infrastructure and services in Singapore. The investment will go into the construction and build-up of the DC capabilities, all associating with the Asia-Pacific Singapore region. Priscilla Chong, country manager of AWS Singapore, told CNBC's Street Signs Asia on Tuesday. The U.S. tech giant's cloud computing arm launched its first Asia-Pacific region in Singapore in 2010, its first foray outside of the U.S. and Europe. Since then, AWS said it has pumped over $11 billion into Singapore's cloud infrastructure and ecosystem. Starting with our investment in Singapore in 2010, AWS has continued to strengthen their commitment to the ASEAN region, sharing the uplift in digital skills across the nations, providing secure and resilient infrastructure consistently across the region, Chong said during a Tuesday summit. Chong added that the firm has trained over 400,000 people in Singapore in cloud skills since 2017 and will continue to invest in upskilling and improve productivity across the country. The AI boom has led to a surge in demand for cloud computing services and data centers, as training AI models requires huge amounts of data and the cloud provides access to vast data sets. Cloud service providers like AWS play an important role in improving the digital economy ecosystem. Besides being a foundational digital infrastructure for organizations, cloud service providers enable enterprises to easily access digital resources like compute and storage, as well as advanced capabilities like AI and generative AI. Tan Kiat Hau, Senior Minister of State at Singapore's Ministry of Communications and Information, said during the event. Tan said AWS will also help more organizations in Singapore adopt cloud services and AI capabilities as the region continues to see strong momentum on digitalization. Tan also noted while the outlook for the digital economy remains positive, there are just not enough tech professionals in Singapore or even globally. AWS was the world's largest cloud infrastructure provider in the first quarter, according to data from Synergy Research Group. AWS held a 31% share of the global cloud infrastructure market in the first quarter, down from 32% a year earlier. Microsoft Azure followed behind AWS in the second spot. Just last week, Microsoft said it will make AI and cloud-related investments in several Southeast Asian countries, Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia, as it doubles down on the region. Amazon Web Services has also expanded its footprint in Southeast Asia over the last few years. It laid out plans in October 2022 to launch a region in Thailand with a $5 billion investment over 15 years, and in March last year, said it will commit at least $6 billion by 2037 into a new region in Malaysia. AWS had opened a region in Jakarta in December 2021. But what do you think? Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified of upcoming videos when they are released. Please share this video on social media. And before we end, a word from the sponsor of this video. Today's sponsor is ProWorldNet.com. ProWorldNet.com is a job website specifically dedicated to licensed professions, doctors, including any type of specialty, nurses, and that includes all grades of nurses, lawyers, regardless of area of legal focus, teachers and professors, from kindergarten through graduate school, as well as any kind of job that requires a government license or certification. And ProWorldNet.com also includes short-term gig-type jobs as well. So, be sure to check out ProWorldNet.com if you're looking for a job or an employee. Thank you for watching.